Cost of living in 1997.
And Segovia, back to another video. Happy Saturday, y'all. In today's video, we got some of the most disturbing TikToks happening now that is going to change your reality. Let's go get into it.
I cannot believe what I'm seeing in this video. Do you see it? What's weird about this FIFA World Cup thing right here? Y'all, it's literally in the presence of two separate angels. And heck no, I'm not talking about the people. This is literally, the outside is like a throne or an orphan, and then the inside is like a cherubim. Y'all, why in the world would they shape this award the exact way that the Bible describes certain angels? Not to mention, we've been having these things pop up in the sky lately. I'm sure this video right here is fake, but then we had this image which was going around when we had the Dior bags going around. But these things have been seen everywhere. By the way, I got surprised at the end. Gonna do a fast forward real quick. People are finally finding out what stars really are, not to mention we have these scientists coming out with the Dyson spheres. By the way, watch how fast this video gets copied. It's March 7th at 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern. Now the bonus, have you ever played Final Fantasy VII? Well, Sephiroth's actually the devil and a seraphim, just like the Bible. Different stages of the last boss are literally different power level angels. And you know that grievingly strong attack he uses? You know, that wipes out the whole earth in the game? What is this? Nasha? Apophis? Google Images says 2029 a meteor is gonna wipe us out? You don't say. But anyways, why do y'all think they made the award in the shape of angels? Or am I reaching?
So apparently it's being reported that Pope Francis has had to be sedated because he keeps waking up in his hospital room stating that there's a portal to hell opening at the bottom of his bed. It's happened several times, apparently. Could it just be the eventual unaliving process that's taking place up here? Maybe. Or could there be something a little bit more serious going on? Remember this? Open up those portals. When I was younger, I wrote a song called Demon in Disguise. And that song was about a terrible, terrible man who led a very bad life, doing terrible, awful things. But he hid behind a collar. He was a priest. And he thought that even in the very end, when Father Time called and said, "That's it, you're coming home," he thought that because he was wearing that collar, he could escape all those bad things that he had done. No. It's not about the suit, baby. It's about the soul inside. So what do you all think is happening with the Pope? Let me know in the comment section.
It says on Wikipedia that you own one of the O's in the famous Hollywood sign.
Yes.
You own it.
I own it. And the reason was because it was the 75th anniversary of Hollywood.
Okay.
The Hollywood sign was up there falling off the hill.
Sure.
We went to the Chamber of Commerce and said, how much is each letter? Each letter was $27,000 to fix it.
Okay.
And I said, okay, Groucho Marx just died. Groucho was one of my best friends. And I said, well, it's the 75th anniversary. We want to buy the O.
Which one?
For Groucho, the first one.
First one.
I said, that O belongs to Groucho. I said, and we'll pay you $27,000. So the O is going to be perfect.
Forever.
Even if the other sign's falling off, the letters are falling off. As soon as we did the publicity stunt, another publicity stunt, at Carlos and Charlie's, Hugh Hefner bought the H. Gene Autry bought a letter. Spielberg bought a letter. Because they're part of Hollywood. That's where they made their money. And they looked at the sign going, It's a disgrace. It's 75th anniversary. Alice bought the O for Groucho. Everybody then bought a letter, and they redid the sign. But I still own the letter.
Right here, this, whatever this is, this right here, we think it's air. But I realized that if I stop, close my nose and mouth for 4 minutes, if I'm separated from this substance for 4 minutes, my heart don't stop. My brain don't even stop. My body functions don't stop. The first thing I lose is consciousness. I pass out. I can no longer stay aware. So I started to say, well, wait a minute. I'm not just breathing in air. I'm breathing in consciousness. I'm inhaling and exhaling God itself. And this air is conscious.
They're trying to silence this guy and make him seem crazy because he's exposing the truth about a $5 billion industry. Listen closely to what he says.
Your McDonald's chicken nuggets contain 30 ingredients. There are 4 different types of seed oil: corn oil, canola oil, soybean oil, and hydrogenated soybean oil. There is chicken in here, but there's also bleached white flour, which can be bleached with harmful chemicals like chlorine dioxide or benzoyl dioxide from multiple preservatives, including aluminum phosphate. Excess amounts of aluminum in the human diet have been associated with increased rates of dementia and Alzheimer's disease.
This is unbelievable. I thought chicken nuggets were supposed to be just chicken. Who would have guessed it's made of 30 ingredients?
The neighbors downstairs was going. Much more stable than robots like human beings.
This is incredible.
Think if that thing would have snapped. None of those people would have been able to stop that robot. Like if it snapped. I mean, imagine a 15-pound pit bull. That's flesh. None of those people are going to stop it. So what about that 15-pound full metal robot that just snaps on everybody? It's worse than a chimp, y'all.
Suspect. You know the whole world is on fire right now, and the whole world is flooded right now.
And imagine that.
Like in this hospital, this children's hospital in Argentina. And I don't know why, but the news is not covering any of this. In Argentina, we have it going on in Saudi Arabia. I think we have it going on in Spain and Portugal. Like, what is going on in this world that everyone in the United States has no idea? That most of the world is literally underwater right now. And since when is this normal to us? Seems like we're always being sidetracked from something big going on right in front of our face. And of course the flooding in Spain is right after they had that weird meteor show up again, and I said, hey, something's about to happen, because history quite literally repeats itself. And what's up with Saudi Arabia having just ridiculously dangerous storms every single week? Have you been paying attention? It seems like someone is mad at Saudi Arabia because it's always catastrophically flooding over there. Of course, Mexico is on fire. We just had Myrtle Beach on fire, and by the way, there's another really bad storm heading to western North Carolina, I believe, this next week. But nobody bats an eye, it's all normal. Figure with the world being in global cataclysm, someone would bring it up. But no, business as usual, I suppose. This kind of stuff makes me think hurricane season in 2025 is going to be extraordinary.
The end.
Now, if you guys know, in West Texas, man, we've been having some terrible, terrible dust storms. Dust storms I've never seen like in my life. This is like what you see on the movies, like when they're in the Sahara Desert and that just dust comes and just you can't see nothing, right? You can't even see. I couldn't even see my neighbor across the street's house yesterday. That's how bad it was. And it's not like it's for like Arizona monsoons, 10-minute maybe dust storm comes, passes, that's it, right? It was for hours, y'all. I went to get my radio done yesterday, and the guy at the shop was telling me he's been there his whole life. I've never seen it like this. And he said something that, you know, kind of struck a chord with me. And he said, this is the end of times, man. Like these things like this that never happen are starting to happen. And I was like, damn, that, like, it was crazy, y'all. The dust storm yesterday, it's filthy. After this video, I gotta go clean. And guess what? It's gonna happen again today, but I'd rather stay on top of it instead of, 3 days after the dust storm, it's just piles and piles of dust out there. So I'm gonna be dusty here and after this video.
Mayan calendar was in 2012, and then give or take whether it was that accurate, but the Mayan high priest, he said that's a transition time. It's not like immediately going to happen after that. It could be 2015, 2017. But we are going through a huge transformation of consciousness.
He got it in his head I don't know if you call it method acting or whatever. It's like he was going to channel Andy Kaufman. He became Andy Kaufman for these 80 days that he was on the set we were filming this movie. So it was crazy. Very first time I saw him, we're walking onto the set, and I'm like a kid in a candy store here, the kid from Memphis. Here I'm in Hollywood. We're on the set of Universal Studios, right? And okay, we're walking along, and I'm looking around at everything, and they're walking over to this trailer, and all of a sudden I see, bam! This big glass bottle of juice or orange juice or something comes flying through the air, almost hits me, splashes all over this juice all over the place, and I'm like, what the heck? And I look over, and there's Jim Carrey dressed as Andy Kaufman. He says, "I'll get you, Lawler. I'll get you, Lawler."
Nothing to see here, just casually setting up the beast system right in front of our eyes. Wake up.
So look at this. You're in London, you're on a business trip, you're staying in Greenwich, and you want to buy some food. So you go into the local Aldi's, like this one, and you think, I'm going to go in here and buy some food so that I can feed myself. And then you approach the barrier, and look, you can't even get in the shop without having a QR code to scan here, or to scan here, and then you can go and buy things. Now this looks to me like the beginning stages of the digital prison that we keep talking about.
Bing.
That ain't true. That's what you just saw. Since day one of Donald Trump's presidency, prices are up, not down. Inflation is getting worse, not better. Prices of groceries, gas, housing, and yes, eggs. He's letting Elon Musk take a chainsaw, giving him access to Americans' most sensitive data, your social security numbers, tax returns, thousands of government work. He's frozen federal funding for cancer research, veteran service, payments to family farmers, and so much more. Why? Republican plan is very simple. Families lose while billionaires win. And that is the truth.
Like, down to the microphone. It's annoying, y'all. Like, it's so annoying how, if you watch that speech, y'all, I don't like to get into politics no more because people live and die on this hill. I don't. I'm just here for the facts, but it's so divided. It's so divided. And I can say one thing in the comments, it's going to be divided. Y'all, people don't realize that this is what they want. This is what they want. They want us divided. They want people that are for Trump to hate everything about the Democrats. They want the Democrats to hate everything about Trump. That's why one side stands and claps and the other one holds up signs like little 3-year-olds. And it gets people divided. And it worked. It worked. It always works. People don't wake up. And it's just so frustrating, y'all. Like, if they really cared about us, they'd come together and work together, right? Like a team. They're a team. It's the government. It should be, right? But it'll never be that way because they need us divided so they can conquer us and keep doing these high prices and keep, hitting us with these taxes and keep hitting us with this inflation, high gas prices, high everything, and terrible foods and terrible music on TV. That's all the machine, y'all. That's all the machine. And they just keep us divided so they can just keep doing that and keep us stupid, keep us dumb, keep us asleep, keep us paying those taxes when we shouldn't be, right? It's frustrating seeing that, y'all.
Skull, 13 of them. I got 3. 3. One of them worth all the money that's ever been put in all the banks in the world. Just give it to me.
Excuse me.
So I called a girlfriend of mine that hooked me up with the aliens. And I said, hey man, just tell so-and-so I don't know what I did with I left them somewhere. So she called me and said, don't worry about that, find you. And 2 weeks later, I walked in the hotel, they're sitting on the bed. That's the power when you look inside of here. Not just chump stuff. That money stuff, what's that?
There were 13 heads, and it was purported that the Navajo, the Anasazi, the Mayans, the Aztec each had one. The most famous one is the Mitchell Hedges skull, which was found in the Yucatan by Anna Mitchell Hedges. She reached into a cave. She was with her grandfather. It was around 1926, and she reached in, and there was an oilcloth covered item in there, and she pulled it out and opened it up, and there was the two-piece detachable jaw Mitchell Hedges skull. The Hewlett-Packard engineers did a test on it in the 60s. They said it could not have been carved by a lapidary, by tools. It had to have been polished over hundreds of years, over centuries, to get to the shape that it was. So they said it was a polished item. So there's the Phyllis Newman skull named Max. She has to put it in the closet because it talks to her. Then there's the Mitchell Hedges skull that's in Indiana. People said when they walked into the room and she uncovered it with the cloth she kept it in, that there was an immediate feeling of well-being and healing coming over. There's one in Mexico City. It's got a cross stuck right in the top of it, which is, that would shatter a crystal if you did that. How that cross got there, I don't know.
This is actually insane. South Korea's military has just accidentally dropped 8 bombs on a civilian village near North Korea's border during training. This is 100% real. Reports say that one of their fighter jet pilots entered in the wrong coordinates of where to release these bombs. This resulted in them dropping 8 bombs weighing 500 pounds each by mistake. Several buildings were damaged, but surprisingly, only 8 were injured, and the military said that they will be compensating the victims. But the question that everyone is asking is, like, how could an accident like this even happen? Like, why were there not more safety measures to prevent simply entering in the wrong coordinates and this resulting in that? Wild.
You smell bad. Perspiration does not smell unless you're toxic. So you say, well, that's not sociable. That's not admissible. I can't go out in the world like this. I gotta stop this. So what are you really doing? The body's last desperate attempt to get rid of toxins through perspiration. What is the normal way of detoxifying? Through the liver and the feces, through the kidneys and the urine, through the breathing, you're breathing out carbon dioxide and so on. But when everything is blocked and the liver is overloaded and the kidneys are overloaded and the body tries to get rid of things through perspiration, you say, oh, nobody, you can't do that to me. It's not sociable. And you block it. You stop it. So what are you doing? You're pushing these toxins right back into the lymphatics, right back into the breast. Then you're surprised there's breast cancer. It's a contributing factor. I'm not saying it's the only thing. In men, it's a different story. Breast cancer in men is rapidly increasing. It's now 1% of female. And in men, it's particularly aggressive. You can't use ointments or creams or minerals or anything underarm except a little soap and water or maybe a little vinegar water. And then you say, yes, but I smell. What's my answer? Eat right and you won't smell.
Are they trying to send us a message with this one? I just started watching this not too long ago. People were speaking about how it's wild, how there's a bunch of programming and subliminal messaging in the show. And first episode, oh yeah, there definitely is. Movies like Leave the World Behind, like the Purge series, all these different movies. You got Geostorm, The Day After Tomorrow, San Andreas, of calamity, disaster, catastrophe coming to the world, also coming specifically to America. And it reminds me, like I've always said, Revelation 17, Revelation 18, when that great city, that great nation is going to fall in 1 hour and 1 day. Like, movies about disaster can't be that interesting, bro. Like, I get it, but is that really what runs the rates up? Is that really what runs the views up? I doubt it. But nowadays it seems like so, because everyone's on this fear binge. It seems like since 2020, they just keep ramping up this program and this messaging of trying to let us know that something bigger is coming, something bigger is on the horizon. And honestly, y'all, since the writing's been on the wall for this long, if you aren't paying attention by now and making proper provisions, that's all on you. The Bible says that God will not do a thing until he first warns his people, the prophets. And when you see all these things happening, all of these strange red flags popping up in the media, popping up in the news, in the world, people warning you about it, people telling you to get right with God, and you keep brushing that off your shoulder, when that day comes, you ain't gonna have nobody else to blame but yourself. It's time to get your house in order, because according to what God has been telling a bunch of people all over the world, time is running out. I'm going to be talking about all this stuff while I still can on my Insta and my YouTube. Go ahead and check me out. It's going to be Blade of Judah on both those platforms. God bless you. Get a relationship with Jesus.
What the say, Prince?
crazy. Is that a plane? What is that? No, seriously, what is that? Is that a shooting star? No. I'm gonna literally be, no way. No freaking way. Is that a shooting star? Alien?
People don't get fooled. They say 5 pounds of potatoes, right? Rice, 364. Now let's see how much some motherfucker is. Oh look, only 3.5 pounds, and they're selling us 5 pounds.
See how to get away with this stuff.
Walmart. Well, I got my 5 pounds. Shit.
Something extremely weird is going on right now with the Pope. So apparently they have a tape recording of Pope Francis's voice, and it's very eerie.
Gracias por mi salud, el abrazo. Los acompaño de acá. Que Dios los bendiga. Y que la Virgen cuide. Gracias.
First thoughts? They said he was on a ventilator. People on a ventilator, adults on ventilators cannot talk. Secondary, it really sounds like a ghost, especially at the end. But finally, there's many people speculating that he's already passed away. Why is it when people are really sick, they're leaving voice recordings in 2025 for us to listen to them? This just happened a few months ago, but I can't remember with who. And then of course, he was just opening these doors. Literally opens the door a few months later on his deathbed. And of course his facial expression while opening the doors. And one of the door openers did not even have ears, y'all. What? If you know, we've seen these earless folks around. And for some reason, the 1,000-year-old book in the Vatican has a link to his illness. Even further, Nostradamus talked about this exact situation. And some people correlate the prophecy of the popes to Pope Francis. What I do know is there's something weird afoot right here, and also why a voice recording. Anyways, this video is entertainment and satire is stupid. Let me know your uneducated thoughts below.
Very simple, over 30 years, just a trifle down payment, and a pittance of a mortgage, and 2 living parents with a pen. Who can sign?
So that clip was from Boy Meets World, and that episode aired in 1999, and I couldn't help myself, so I had to run the numbers. The show took place in Philly, and I saw that the median house price was around $80,000 in 1999. Now, Corey and Topanga were high school students without a job, so they couldn't qualify, but what about the median household income back then? It's $40,000. Which is about $3,300 a month, and a 3% down payment on the median house was only $2,400. So somebody in Philly in 1999 didn't even have to save 1 month's income to put a down payment on this house, and the interest rates were around 7%, just like they are today. So with principal, interest, property taxes, insurance, and private mortgage insurance, the total payment was $750 a month to get the median house in Philly, and you're making $3,300, so that's about what, 25%? So a family making 40 grand could take care of their entire mortgage in just 1 week. And then I wanted to see, well, let's just see what happened to the prices in Philadelphia, because we know the averages around the country, but let's look at Philly. $80,000 was the median price in 1999. It's now $250,000, so below the average for the nation, but the income was $40,000 for the median household. Now it's $60,000. So the housing price, even in Philly, went up over 200% in the last 25 years, but the income only went up 53%. So even in smaller cities, metro cities, no matter where we look, I don't think I have found a city in America where the housing and income was even close to keeping up.
Are you hanging with Diddy? I think he's in there with you.
He is. You know, he's been kind. I've made some friends. It's a lot of, you know, ex-gangsters or sort of alleged ex-gangsters.
Yes, definitely alleged. So what's Diddy like?
I've only seen one piece of him. Diddy in prison. You know, he's been kind to people in the unit. He's been kind to me.
You're 2 of the most famous prisoners in the world in the same unit. What do the armed robbers think?
Some of them are, I think are thinking like, wow, this is sort of a big opportunity, like to meet people they wouldn't otherwise get to meet, which is, it shocked me the first time I heard that. Right? It makes sense from their perspective, but like, boy, is that not how I think about prison.
Guys, which of these two buildings seems more American? Both, right? And it's weird that it's both. It's especially weird because they both existed at the same time. So the Capitol building started work in 1790 or whatever. Burnt down a few times and swapped architects, and there's a whole lot of yada yada. But this is the building that was around before there was indoor plumbing, before there was any plumbing. Because when they finished this building, the workers, I presume, went to an outhouse and took a shit. That's what our stupid history books tell us. They say plumbing wasn't accessible until 1853 in Washington, D.C. It's like, okay, you guys can carve massive chunks of sandstone, marble, granite, carve it intricately, but you don't have anywhere for your shit to go? You can't make pipes? That's our narrative. The White House, the president was shitting in a chamber pot in the White House. That doesn't make any fucking sense. These horse and buggy people can throw up the most massive, ornate, beautiful buildings that we would struggle to rival today, all by firelight and writing important foundational documents with quills and parchment and shitting in chamber pots. That's our history. And I think that's why they fucking have to normalize us to it. Why every politician stands in front of these buildings and says dumb words on a teleprompter. Like, it's freaky to see the little power line run across the marble stage. It's even weirder to think of them going outside to take a shit, right? Congress has a break and there's no bathroom, so they all go outside and wait their turn in the garden and shit in an outhouse. And then that shit gets carried off by a horse and wagon outside of town. That's some bullshit, guys. I think they founded all the buildings. I think they did shit in them. I think they founded them, and they probably didn't put plumbing in until later. These buildings are not of this timeline. They're not of this narrative. They don't make any fucking sense. We're squatting in them. More ways than one, for years and generations. Love to hear everyone's thoughts for why they didn't have plumbing when they can make the fucking Capitol building.
What the frick, dude? What is this?
You breathed out an octopus.
Oh, it's so mucky. It's so mucky.
Oh my gosh, dude, that is so cool. Dude, that's...
Look at that.
It's a little tide pool in Washington.
That's cute.
Dude, that is so cool. Interesting.
How beautiful.
Hi, buddy.
Oh, it's going to you, Mike.
Hi.
Dude, that's so cool.
They're called menehune, this Hawaiian cryptid. There's a story. Basically, this dude rides a bike through this old stone wall ruins area. Over the wall's edge, he just hears voices. He's like, it's really weird that there would be someone over in this area. And so he stops and he looks over and he describes these like human-ish 2 to 3 foot tall menehune speaking in some language he doesn't understand. He steps on a twig. They see him and just disappear into the jungle. And then they ask him, can you like describe for us what the voices sound like? It sounds ridiculous. Play the next clip. Tell me this isn't the same creature. You guys remember this?
Yes, Sierra sounds.
Guys,
That sounded
They sounds like the same thing.
We know so little of what's happening.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about Inner Earth? UFO sightings around caves, a lot of giants going into caves.
That underground highway?
Yeah. It would make sense if there was creatures
real.
living in this other place.
Doesn't it say in the Bible that they come up out of the earth?
Yeah.
I'm so scared right now.
Someone caught what appears to be a fucking orb flying down through the fire and smoke in California. You can clearly see it. It goes whoop, look like fucking Goku flying on a motherfucking cloud. A lot of talk's been going around about this fire and what started it, and nobody got answers. But like I said, this thing was caught on live TV, and multiple people said they seen it in real life. So my question is, what is it? Y'all tell me what the fuck this is. Look. You see that shit? Look like Goku flying through the sky. I seen the slowest comment ever talk about, oh, that's just a plane trying to fight the fire. What fucking plane do y'all know that goes that close to the fucking fire and can do an angle like this through the fire like that? That low to the floor. I'll wait. A fuck? Who the fuck they think they kidding? Chelsea Clinton?
Out of the 90 sounds you're about to hear, which one hits you the hardest?
Shh.
Coming soon to video cassette.
Forgot about this. I don't even know what it is, but I remember it.
Yo, what is really going on? We keep seeing these things every other week. And yes, this just happened like 10 minutes ago. Every single time, of course, they say that he's experimenting with his rockets and all that stuff, but there's a huge problem with that. Before that, every single person in the Bahamas was originally thinking that it was meteors or something going through the sky. I watched 50 different videos and 50 different angles, and every single time it shows the explosion, it did not turn into 1,000 different fireballs shooting through the sky for miles and miles without falling down. Never once. I see an explosion, and then boom, it's gone, and that's it. Fast forward. And you can see that was the supposed starship that exploded that supposedly caused this crazy thing we keep seeing in the sky every single week, right? Hear me out on this. What if it's not the starship? There's things flying through our skies, and they're using the starships to cover it up. I have always told you that SpaceX, in my opinion, is to hide things that happen in the sky. And tens of thousands of people all called it meteors because they did not see an explosion turn into this crazy sight. So really, what is this actually, and why do they keep trying to tell us that it's them with their starships? Oh, I forgot. Entertainment only.
I just think it's weird that there are so many content creators in Los Angeles and nobody is talking about the topiaries outside of the shop.
That's what was so suspicious to me. So if this video gets taken down, just know it wasn't us.
Did you hear that conspiracy theory about the animal hedges outside of the chevrons in Los Angeles? Wait, the ones that are literally outside of on every single...
Exactly. If you live in Los Angeles, you know that every chevron, or many chevrons in Los Angeles, have hedges shaped like vague animals.
Yeah, and you really, it's kind of like animal cracker animals in that you can't really, you know
can
that it's
identify
meant to
that's
be
an animal, but it is
animal.
unclear which animal.
Yeah, well, just topiaries, that's the word.
Topiaries.
They have those
topiaries
topiaries everywhere.
If I did my research, in the Stephen King novel, in The Shining, not the movie, in the book, there is a scene where he goes out into the hedges and there is a bunch of topiaries that are shaped like animals that come to life.
Yeah.
And they start like kind of being creepy.
Wait.
So the main owner of the chevrons, all of them in Los Angeles have the same owner. They all seem like franchises, but they're actually all go back to one central man.
It's always like that.
And so he was obsessed with this novel. The rabbit hole of the topiaries down to the Stephen King, it gets spooky.
Well, also because so often in media they're trying to like hide in subliminal messages, and it's like the choice to put those topiaries, now that I'm thinking about it in The Shining, like those topiaries were such a choice.
And they were meant to confuse and daze, and a lot of people say that he has ties to one of the old governors back in the early 2000s of Los Angeles, of like trying to kind of give people this dystopian vibe of LA.
The Mandela effect. I'll have one for you. Pikachu. Describe his tail.
Let me think of him. Oh God, he's nasty. He had short little tail.
What color was it?
His tail was yellow.
You don't remember anything on it?
Like a little
like a
black ball at the end.
Yes, there was no black little thing at the end of it. Now they're saying Pikachu never had that. That stresses me out.
Oh.
There was a black ball at the end. The one on the left is correct, and they're saying the black ball never existed. So someone's just deleting the files.
Tell me something God did in your life personally to prove he exists. When I was 18, I kept seeing the number 1134 over and over for months. And I realized the number 1134 is hell when you flip it upside down. So I shouted out to God, hell? You're gonna send me to hell? Well, you killed my dad. You killed one of my best friends. I don't care if I live or die, so I don't really think you're a good God, and I really don't care if I go to hell. After that, I fell asleep and had a dream that I died, and I was standing in a room lit up by torches. And a man walked up to me and looked me right in the eyes and said, I don't know you. And then he shoved my head through the floor. The screams that I heard, the heat that I felt, and the images that I saw, I truly do not wish on my worst enemy. Then my head got pulled back up through the floor, and I woke up from my dream to see my alarm clock flashing 11:34. Go ahead and try to tell me how all that's just a coincidence and I'm crazy.
Now, when I went through everything I went through at 17, 18, I always saw 11:34 everywhere. I looked at the clock every 12 hours. It used to freak me out. Now it doesn't. Like, I don't pay no mind. I see it. I saw it yesterday, right? Every time I look at the clock, every time I, you know, am on a website, I don't know. I always see 11:34, y'all. And, you can Google it and it says something good. I mean, you can Google 666 and it's going to tell you something good. So, who knows? Who knows what the meaning is? But I sure as heck didn't shame God. I took it on the chin like a champ and just said, let's get after it, right?
Okay, this documentary is absolutely wild. 2023, this plane with 3 adults and 4 children. They're flying over Colombia and they crash land in the dark Amazon jungle. On impact, the 3 adults die. All 4 children leave the plane site. 12 years old, 9 years old, 4 years old, 11 months old.
Baby.
Once this is heard, everyone's freaking out. All of Colombia, the government, the forces, all the indigenous people and they go out and they start a search. Day 1, they can't find anything and they go weeks without finding anything. And they go through a lot of measures. They have a helicopter with a speaker that says, stay put. If you can hear this, literally 20 days, nothing. It was a really difficult thing with the indigenous people and the government forces to work together because
they don't like each other.
Yeah,
they don't like each
they
other.
don't trust them.
They don't trust them. Also, the military people, they were going through with a very good system. They were saying, this is how we do it. Indigenous people literally they would sit down and they would collect themselves, literally just let their heart guide them through the forest, be a child, move like a child, think like a child. And on the 38th day, the government forces, they say, we have to pull out. We can't do this. There's no signs of life. The indigenous people that were there, they were really committed. On like the 39th day, they sit down and they start praying. Then they did ayahuasca.
Oh my gosh.
On the 40th day, they're packing up camp because they're also calling it quits. They had like maybe 2 or 3 people. They said, just go out and look real quick while we're waiting for the helicopter. They go out and they're sitting there and then they hear something and they freeze. They hear a baby cry.
Oh.
They start sprinting and they look over and there are the 4 children standing there.
Okay, this is live right now, and I'm just wondering what. Hold on, let me get up. What's going on with this guy's eyes?
Republicans' Medicaid cuts are like life or death to so many Americans.
You see this?
Eddie.
If anyone knows, let me know because I'm nosy and I'm just curious.
The person that I brought yesterday or I should say on Tuesday, to the joint address by the president. At Tuesday's nights, a joint address.
Just wondering, anyone knows what's going on with this guy's eyes?
Wouldn't it be crazy if back in the 2008 mortgage collapse, a lot of the banks which received bailouts were heavily funded by a little company known as BlackRock? And wouldn't it also be kind of crazy if the person the government put in charge of managing the bailout money was Larry Fink, CEO of BlackRock? And wouldn't it be crazy if one of the biggest proponents and advocates of subprime mortgage-backed securities was, you guessed it, ding, 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 Larry Fink again. So, and stay with me here. I guess it'd be kind of crazy if the U.S. government paid Larry Fink to give himself a bunch of money. Sorry. Let me rephrase. He gave Larry Fink taxpayer money, your money, as a reward for completely decimating the economy. Seems fair. Honestly, that's about right. Yeah.
So this is what our water is going to look like very soon. Hence the bill they just passed to be able to pass through sewage and other yuckiness through our water streams, right? Like the water that you wash your face with, that you take a bath with, that you drink. Now, a lot of people say, well, I don't drink tap water, so I don't really care. But you take showers, you wash your face, you do other stuff with water. I literally stopped drinking plastic bottles of water. I switched over. I bought a Brita, the filter. I bought a Brita. You know what I'm saying? I'm saving money on water. Don't have to buy bottled water, just my own. You know what I'm saying?
And now you're telling me I gotta go back to drinking the plastic water? Because obviously it's gonna be healthier for you than having to drink this or this. Disgusting. Like, who wants to... I just don't get what they're doing. I thought RFK said he wanted us to be healthy again, make America healthy again. Well, it doesn't start with passing poo particles and all type of other sewage particles through our main water supplies. Make it make sense, dude. Like, what are we doing? How is this making America great?
And then the big question came. He said, hey, Wedo, do you think you can pick up $1 million in Texas for me? I'm like, pick up $1 million? Okay, I was just dropping off money for you. Now I'm picking it up. He goes, it's my turf. It's my rival turf. It's my rival's turf, he said. I said, oh, fuck. I said, I think I know what kind of business this guy's into. You know, if it's the rivals, okay, I'm thinking to myself, that's the Zetas over there, you know, at the time. And I'm thinking Texas, okay, that makes sense. He says, pick up 100 or pick up $1 million and I'll give you 100,000. I'm like, I said, no brainer, you know, I'm 24 years old. So I called my boy Tank, who's an Avalon Crip, and I said, hey, Tank, I got a job for us. I said, go get one of your UFC buddies. I said, we're getting on a private plane, and we're going to go pick up a package. You know, I didn't tell him the amount. I said, I'll pay you $2,000. I'll pay your UFC buddy $2,000. So he calls his buddy Diego. He says, hey, we're going with the boss. We got to go pick up some money. And I called the private plane company, and I said, hey, I need you to pick me up. So he shows up in this King Turbo prop, and I got Tank and his boy from the UFC, and we're on this private, you know, dual prop plane, and we land in Texas, Browning, Texas. I'll never forget it. And I get there and I message El Jefe, okay, I'm here. He goes, give me 5 minutes. And there's a gardener that shows up. I'm like, fucking gardener? What's this gardener doing? Comes out, he's wearing overalls and this dump truck. I'm like, man, there's no way this guy's gonna have $1 million bucks. He comes and gives me a duffel bag. And he goes, this este para El Jefe. This is for the boss. I'm like, oh, fuck, the boss. Okay, let me grab that. I'm like, am I gonna get like ransacked right now? Or the fucking cartel? Am I gonna get whacked? Like, I don't know who I'm dealing with. So I get on the plane and we fly into the Torrance airport, and I land. I say, hey, El Jefe, I got your package. Where would you like it delivered? He goes, take your 100,000 out. You deliver 900 here in Torrance. I was like, boom. 10 minutes later, I said, done. Next day, he messaged me back, Wedo, I like how you work. You do good business. So then he asked me the famous question, the question that cost me, you know, my prison bid. He said,
maybe. Stay tuned for part 4.
Girl wasn't talking about what we thought. Maybe she was referring to the intelligence-based Hawk 2A satellite. Maybe it was some sort of cryptic message into the future. Seemed like something stupid, but disguised as something really smart. This is possibly a new government tracking system. Who knows?
The FBI says the head of a massive international drug smuggling ring is a former Canadian snowboarder named Ryan James Wedding. Now, we first told you about him here at the desk last October when the Department of Justice announced the breakup of this drug smuggling ring, but the alleged mastermind, Wedding, is still on the run, and today he was added to the FBI's top 10 most wanted list. Take a listen to what the assistant director of the FBI in charge of the LA office had to say in a news conference.
Wedding went from being an elite athlete to running one of the most sophisticated drug trafficking networks in North America. Wedding and 15 other defendants are currently charged for their roles in this drug operation. This operation has shipped drugs from Colombia through Mexico and into the United States and Canada. While we haven't ruled out other countries, we believe Wedding is residing in Mexico and possibly living under protection of the Sinaloa drug cartel.
Now, this is the new wanted poster of Ryan James Wedding that was showed at the news conference today, where he was added to the 10 most wanted list. There was also a staggering $10 million reward being offered for his capture and arrest. And this is video from a news conference last October when the U.S. attorney announced the breakup of that criminal organization allegedly run by Wedding and his accomplices. Now, the DOJ says this organization moved up to 60 tons of cocaine into the United States every year. They'd make the cocaine in Colombia, ship it through Mexico in long-haul trucks until it arrived here in L.A. Then it would go into stash houses here in the city and then be distributed and sold in Canada, the East Coast, and Florida. The DOJ also says this group was responsible for multiple murders of people who got in their way, and they'd use cryptocurrency to launder their drug profits.
The cost of living in 1997.
I remember my first apartment I ever had. Probably like 2010, 2012, somewhere around that area, in a nice area off the one. Anyone that knows about Peoria, off the 101 in Thunderbird, there's some apartments right there in Arizona. I was paying $800, y'all. One bedroom, probably 700 square foot, one bed, one bath. Nice apartment, 800. Now those apartments, probably like 2,500 a month, y'all.
Widow who I interviewed for 4 hours, and according to his son, who's a 747 pilot, who I interviewed for 3 hours, he was murdered by the CIA because he would not cooperate with fraud in the Apollo program. He
That's
told
correct.
his
Can we slow
wife,
that story down for people that don't
Yeah.
know about Grisham? Can you explain what was supposed to happen? Because a lot of people that were supposed to go to the moon ended up dead in very mysterious circumstances. People that were supposed to testify about the death ended up dead in mysterious circumstances. So let's slow that down for my listeners in case this is the first time they've ever even considered that the moon landing didn't happen.
Yeah, so basically, Gus Grissom was the most beloved astronaut because he had an accident where his space capsule sank to the bottom of the ocean, and he confessed at the press conference he had all of these rolls of nickels in his pocket to give to his son, to give to his schoolmates, to say this nickel has been in outer space. And when he started sinking with that extra weight, he said, maybe that wasn't such a brilliant idea. The media laughed. And then someone asked him, were you afraid? And he said, of course I was afraid. And everyone said, this guy's real. They said he's going to be the first man to walk on the moon. He was preparing congressional reports and giving them to senators that were taken from his home by the CIA before they even informed his widow that he was dead. On January 26, 1967, he came home and told his wife the following, who told me, "Hun, for some strange reason, the CIA is all over the launch pad today. I've never seen the CIA here in 3 years. Why did they show up today to inspect the equipment? The next day he's dead from faulty equipment." Days earlier, he held a press conference without permission. And he took a bunch of reporters up to the top of the rocket where he affixed a lemon the size of a grapefruit to the top of the rocket, calling it publicly a piece of junk. In fact, seconds before he burned alive, murdered by the CIA, his widow's opinion, not mine, they couldn't even get a wired intercom to work between two buildings. He says, how are we going to go to the moon? He says they're not fixing anything because they knew they were going to fake it and hadn't told the astronauts yet. It was faked a year later. So here's the point. Our country was formed, right, not by the Constitution, by the Declaration of Independence against the tyranny of King George, right? Because he was an obstacle to the pursuit of life, liberty, and happiness. What's the first one? Life. The federal government is murdering their own people. Does anybody care?
I heard that if you crack an egg at the bottom of the ocean, something crazy happens. So I wanted to try it out. First, I got my egg, and then I went to the bottom of the ocean. It's about 45 feet deep here. I checked to see if it would float back up, and it actually sinks. When I went to crack it, I realized my thumbnails weren't that strong, so I went back to the surface for a breath. Oh, hey, Brittany, look at the rainbow. Anyways, I went back down and I cracked it open with the other camera. And as I pull it apart, you can see the clear part of the egg sticks to the top. I wanted to make sure that the egg all stayed together, so I slowly peeled away the pieces of the bottom shell until it would fall out. Okay, I got it. Now I have this cool floaty egg. Look at me and my egg friend. This is so crazy. He's just chilling. I was running out of breath, so I went up again. And when I looked down, this fish was stealing my egg. Bruh, can you not? He scurried away as I swam back down, and all that was left was bits and pieces. I tried to pick it up, and obviously that didn't work. I'm gonna try this again, and next time I won't let a fish steal my egg. Okay, that's all the stuff we saw. Bye.
So look, 3 things happened today. Facebook, Meta crashed. The emergency broadcast come on the radio in my car at the same time. I'm about to show you the video of that. And sirens near the military base, all at the same time. Y'all hear that? Might be going down. think? So what are the odds that Facebook and Instagram both go down, can't log back in, all of a sudden the emergency broadcast comes on and that siren was going off earlier? What do y'all think?
Soy cocha, güey, ya abre.
No mames, bro.
Crazy. I'm partying with them the night before.
Se metieron hasta el baño, gordo. Se metieron hasta el baño.
That's my government name. He owns what's called intellectual property. Right. He owns John Cena. Absolutely.
That's not your real name.
No, that's my government name.
And he owns it.
Well, it's a weird concept, but in a way, yeah. He owns the name. In other words,
you won't be able to be yourself if you leave, Vince.
yeah, which is kind of cool. I can get another identity. So this is a good life. It really is. It's a different life because you're not working a typical 9 to 5. So I don't have a family life. I'm not married. I'm not settled down. I'm home 1-2 days a month. If anything, that's a sign of respect. I owe that guy a lot.
Vince McMahon, who is the founder of the WWE, he's the big cheese.
He is the guy.
He will own your name.
Yep.
He gets a cut of all of your movies, right?
Absolutely.
Is that the way it works? That's
Yep.
what The Rock told me.
Yep.
Does that bother you?
Absolutely not.
Is he entitled to a cut of your movie action?
Absolutely. Howard, before this, I was a kid in a small Massachusetts town mowing lawns for a golf course. I don't mind kicking a percentage of my earnings to the person who gave me a chance and an opportunity.
Wait till you see how dark it really gets, and they tell you flat out.
I mean, I'm making $100 million a movie, whatever. You can take 10 million, right? I'm good with 190 million, right? It's not being greedy, y'all.
It will literally show you right to your face what they're about, and still people are completely oblivious of it. Like, did y'all hear what Ariana Grande just said? And oddly enough, she's not the only person telling industry secrets right now.
You know what? They did the Brighter Days memory erasure treatment to me, so I'm having trouble remembering the details. They're foggy because at the Brighter Days clinic they do the memory erasure, you know?
If you could remember,
You know what? I'll have to go back to the clinic and see if they can restore my memory.
I'm sorry, what? Restore her memory? And by the way, am I the only person noticing her eyes? They are like empty. Maybe Nicki Minaj can give us a clue as to why.
Y'all, we have something to tell y'all. We're not the real us. Stop glitching. Stop glitching. We're not the real us. How?
Stop glitching? Finally, we had Miley Cyrus at the Oscars, and people were noticing very weird about her face and her stance. A lot of people even saying that she was possessed by demons. What do y'all think? Let me know below. Something's going on. Look at that pupil right there. And I'm just messing with y'all, just for entertainment.
What are you doing home from school? They sent me home. Measles.
That's either measles or a strange case of red freckles.
You have got a temperature. They told me 101.1. What's the record?
Never mind.
Oh, are you sure it's the measles?
Well, he certainly got all the symptoms. A slight temperature, a lot of dots, and a great big smile.
A great big smile.
No school for a few days.
Say hello to my dotted son for me. Tell him I'll bring him some comic books and I'll see you later, dear.
Okay, honey, bye.
Eat lunch.
Boy, this is the life, isn't it? Yeah. If you have to get sick, you sure can't beat the measles. That's right. No medicine. Inside or out. Like shots, I mean. Don't even mention shots. Yeah.
Dad says I should go to school.
7 students confirmed with measles, 4 others possible.
How? They had to have been vaccinated.
These moms never vaccinated their kids and lied about it. Vaccines are harmful.
You are endangering the health of every child in this city.
Blue. No, it's turning blue.
Call 911.
Does this like?
Remember the measles growing up was part of chickenpox, right? I've never had chickenpox, but I remember like just when I was little at the doctor's, like chickenpox was in the same category as the measles. I know, y'all. More division.
Worship Satan, dude. Seriously.
Hollywood's gone too far, man. We gotta talk about this. Y'all seeing who this is right here? Do you have any idea? Look at these snakes, bruh. Or why is she hanging out with Lucifer and Rothschild, dude? They're just chilling in front of his little painting. He's always been the weird kind of art, but hold on, I gotta show you this. Now, I want y'all to watch this right here, okay? Watch closely. See how she walks up? I want you to look closely into their eyes, dude. Their eyes. You see what I'm saying? It almost looks like, I don't know, I can't even really say, because it's almost as if he like worships her or something like that. You know what I'm saying? And why does he have all these weird pictures, man? Like scorpions? Come on, dude. Then I know y'all have heard about her and Lady Gaga, right? How they are, allegedly, people say they could be related. Now, what do y'all think about that little theory right there? Do y'all think they're related? There's so much in Hollywood, man. This is Michelle Lamy. This is another one, dude, that's very peculiar and strange in nature.
This is the first time that the Vatican has reported that he is in a reserved prognosis, meaning that it is touch and go.
Right now, something truly unsettling is happening in the Vatican. Rumors are swirling that the Antichrist is finally ready to step out of the shadows and reveal himself to the world. At the same time, the Vatican has officially confirmed that Pope Francis is in a dangerously critical state. The Pope has reportedly acknowledged that his time is coming to an end, and has even requested that preparations for his funeral begin. With his condition worsening, the Vatican is now preparing to choose a new Pope, and the atmosphere is filled with tension and anticipation. Some believe this is more than just a medical crisis. It could be the fulfillment of prophecy. According to St. Malachi's prophecy, Pope Francis is the final pope before the rise of the Antichrist. The book of Revelation warns of a false prophet who will deceive the world, and some believe Francis' teachings align with this prophecy. Now, as the Vatican prepares to elect a new leader, could we be entering the tribulation period? Join us as we break down the events, prophecies, and signs pointing to a world-changing moment.
So here's a billboard in Arizona in the 1950s.
Maryville.
Showing that you
Call
can
it
get
Murderville.
your own home with a swimming pool for $9,800 on West Indian School Road. So what did I do? I went to Zillow, looked hard enough, and found the neighborhood here. And this is a neighborhood right off of West Indian School Road. Here's the pools. So let's take a look at this one. $534K. There's the pool. Here's the front of it.
Oh, nice.
It's now $534. But if you adjusted the $9,800 for inflation, that should only be about $116K. And this is it, 1954 when it was built. You can see what it was sold at through here. Oh man, they took a drop right there. And some of them are like up to $730K.
Why did in Maryville? Y'all see why I had to get out of Arizona? Maryville is, hey, I got in trouble for saying the part of the border of Mexico I'm at looks like a third world country from this side of the wall. Dirt roads, pivots, sorry, I got in trouble. But Maryville is not the nicest area at all. For 700, no way there's 700,000 houses there. There's no way. Not for 700. In Maryville?
Get on stage during his State of the Union in February? Why did he get up there and promise no new taxes on anybody who makes less than $400,000 a year? Why was that the number? Because senior politicians can make up to $400,000 a year, half of which is their salary for being a politician. He doesn't want to tax the Senate, just like the Senate doesn't want to ratify a law to pay themselves less.
Did you hear the dark Rick and Morty type theory? The past has been altered, so now Marty's parents are in a better place. And they have better personalities. And we're assuming that this will transform into Marty becoming a different person,
Right.
having a different personality moving forward. Doc knows this, and we think that new reformed Marty is actually kind of a shithead and not that great of a Marty. There's a thought that when Marty comes back to time and watches that other DeLorean go into the past, that Doc actually was sending that DeLorean and Marty to be killed, to not take new shithead Marty into the past to then maybe possibly ruin what they had already done, because now Marty's going to the past and he's a different Marty to try to keep his parents together.
So
and
he's
they
a more humble Marty at that point, is what you're
or
saying.
I don't know, or he's not as good of a Marty because he's got everything handed to him his whole life. We're just saying that this Marty's different, and the theory is that Doc doesn't want a different Marty to go back in time, so he actually is killing this Marty. He's sending him somewhere to where the DeLorean will never get back, or that they're like going into infinite space and burning up and blowing up somewhere.
Oh, I see.
So that the only Marty left now is this same Marty back in time from the
slip in this chair.
Kind of fucked up.
Wow.
Every time Beyonce kicks off one of her world tours, a huge music legend dies. This theory starts with Michael Jackson. In March 2009, Beyonce launched her I Am Sasha Fierce World Tour. But just 3 months later, Michael Jackson passed away. Then, a few days after she announced her The Mrs. Carter Show tour in 2012, Donna Summer died. And right before that same tour started, Whitney Houston left us. And it only gets crazier because in June 2014, when Beyonce and Jay-Z started their On the Run tour, the legend Bobby Womack died that very same month. When Beyonce kicked off her Formation tour in April 2016, Prince died that same month too. Then in June 2018, right after the start of the On the Run 2 tour, Aretha Franklin passed away in August 2018. It's starting to get creepier and creepier seeing Beyonce pay tribute to all these legends at every tour, knowing the truth deep down. And the wildest part is that some fans were already predicting who would be next the moment the Renaissance tour was announced. Beyonce kicked off her Renaissance World Tour in May 2023, and just days later, Tina Turner passed away. And, of course, Beyonce paid tribute to her.
Snake tongue.
So they just took the kids' phones away today at school. Like, it just went into effect. Gavin Newsom signed something. So we have these things called yonder pouches. Well, I'm all out of them. But basically, it's a pouch to where you take a kid's phone and you lock it in the pouch and they can't get to their phone the entire day. And it's crazy because we talk about, like, hey, stay away from drugs and alcohol. But Dare never shows kids, like, just staring at their cell phone screen getting their fix in. So today, it was like watching people at a detox center. Like, the kids were banging their phones on the table and being like, I can't get it out. And then I was like, you're not going to get it out till the end of the day. And they're like, just please, do you have like a magnet? Like, instead of like asking for change, they're asking for a magnet because that's the only thing that can unlock the yonder pouch. But it's a specific kind of magnet, I believe. And so at the end of the day, they go to the office like prisoners getting the slop slapped on their cafeteria tray, and they get the magnet and they see their phone and they're like, oh, it's crazy watching them. Like, it's I feel like the entire school has turned into like the front. The entire school has turned into the front of a 7-Eleven store. The kids are just like, ah. It's wild. So I think it's a good thing. I need to detox from my phone too, because
He's all on his phone right now.
we all do, but kids definitely.
I mean, I can only imagine, like, you know, when we leave and just forget our phone, it's like, not all my older crowd that watches in the CaveFam, y'all. This ain't for y'all, but you know, I went through a long period of time with no phone, right? But now, it's like when you leave the house and you forget your phone, it's like the end of the world. Especially now that I got a baby at home and my girl, right? But still, I'm like, fuck, I forgot my phone, right? You even turn around and go get it. Like, you forget, like, that people, our parents, car broke down, figure it out, right? But I don't know. It's just you just feel like you left a piece of you at home when you don't have your phone if you leave the house without your phone. So I can only imagine kids in school now that have had that phone 24/7 for the majority of their life, that's all they know. Me, I'm like, you know, there's a part of life where I didn't have a phone in high school and all that, so I'm okay, right? I'll get it when I get back. Like, it's okay. I don't have my phone. But, you know, to these kids now that get their phone taken away in school, it's the end of the world.
Told us to eat low fat. They told us to eat seed oils. They told us to avoid the sun. They told us to avoid red meat. They told us to limit our eggs for cholesterol. They told us to limit salt. They told us to avoid butter. They told us everything to make us unhealthy insulin resistant, forgetful, and dependent on their system. So what are you going to do about it?
Guys, I really can't make this shit up right now. I'm right here at Walmart and I see this thing with this ridiculous price. And I know for a fact that thing is not 3 pounds.
And empty too. People are buying $49 ribeyes.
$50 for this piece of steak.
I would pay that.
$15 a pound, 3 pounds.
Who gets their meat at Walmart? I get my ground beef there. That's it.
To produce.
You ground beef, it's bad for you.
Because this can't be right. I'm at Walmart.
Some chicken. Chicken breast is kind of cheap at Walmart too for a big
One
pound.
piece of steak for one single dinner is not $50.
But that ain't a, what was it, a 3 pound steak? That ain't
Where's
no 3
the
pound
scale
steak.
right now?
I say two pounds. I'll say 2 pounds. What do you guys think? Leave it in the
digital.
comments before he throws it on the scale. Don't cheat.
Let's see.
Press pause. What? Not even a pound?
I told you. They're fucking doing it, guys.
That's cold blooded.
We can't make this shit up.
That's a cold blooded game, y'all. Well, it says family pack, so did he rip off the other two? Maybe. Just to get some clickbait, get on Segovia Reacts.
Look.
Mission accomplished.
So you say I'm
believe
not
everything
making
you
this
see
shit
on the
up.
internet, y'all. Entertainment purposes only. All right, family. There you have today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you made it this far, leave a like, comment, subscribe. I had to move some things around. If you notice back here, man, ever since yesterday, my power surge has been failing. The power's been going out in the room. I had too much stuff plugged in, right? I had the TV. I had a light over here. I had a TV over here. You know, so I had to unplug and go back to how it was when I first started with this background, because every time I would hit record, boom, power would go out. So I had to get rid of some things. We're back to this way, y'all, but we got a busy day today. Parents are on their way as we speak. It is 7:30 in the morning. Mama bear's awake with the baby. I got to go out there and clean that yard, blow it out, water my synthetic grass because it's full of dust. When you step on it, it poofs everywhere. So I got to go water that down and clean up, y'all. It was bad dust storm. My truck is filthy. I don't know if I want to clean it, because guess what? Today is going to be windy, but I don't think it's going to be dusty no more for a few days. So I might clean my truck so it's nice and clean. Tires are supposed to be delivered today. I got them yesterday. I was like, heck yeah, I'm going to go drop my truck off this morning. They delivered 1 tire, y'all. 1 freaking tire. But there's some nice tires, y'all. There's some nice tires. I'm excited. Get a little lift on my truck. Get some tires on there. Got a little radio. Mama Bear bought me an Apple Play radio for my truck for my birthday, which is on Monday. So I got that installed yesterday. It looks dope. You know, making little upgrades. The tires and the lift are the most expensive. Everything else just gonna be little upgrades here and there, y'all. But yeah, that's what I'm doing over here, y'all. Got family coming check out the baby. I don't even think they're coming for my birthday. They're coming for the baby, right? But anyways, y'all, hope everyone out there has a good Saturday. I'm gonna be here for Sunday's video tomorrow. I'll see you guys then. This is Segovia signing out of the Man Cave. Hope everyone has a good Saturday. Later.